Hello and welcome to Adlam. I am Adam, and in today's touring car deep dive, we're going to be looking at the Ford Focus ST. Let's get into it. So for our first race here, we're at Laguna Seca. Starting our fastest qualifying lap, which, as you can tell, was our first. So your first braking point you're looking for is the, I think it's 3 sign, 3 board on the right there, basically the as you hit the cones. Try and hit both apexes. At the 2 board there. So you get across to the left here. It's just a lift. When you hit the apex, then back on. And this will become an issue later in this race, but as you see, you want to go just after the 2. Clip the apex, back on. And here for the 2, just a quick sharp brake down to 3rd. Up here. Now with this particular car, the corkscrew is an issue. So normally you would brake as you're coming up to the crest there. It wasn't too bad on that occasion. I went a little deeper than I would have liked. But I find with this car, if you just held the brakes on when you go over the crest, that back end is coming round. Regardless of what you try, it's coming round. So it's like brake just before, lift as you go over, back on the brakes again, down to 2nd gear as you saw there. So, and this one here, between the 2 and the 3, just after the 3, I found without the tune. On the drive up to the line, and let's say the fastest so far, there we are, we're almost 3 seconds off. I think I could probably make a second of that. And so there you've got to see my position. I missed it. I think it's about 8th, somewhere in the midfield. This guy next to me will become very important later on. So, at 8th, I was right, yeah. So, on the run down to turn 1. Everything looks alright so far. It's a bit late on the brakes, but you know, we were coming there at a slower speed, that's why. I ended up losing a couple of spots, but a bit of chaos happens here. And I'm back up to where I was before. So, no harm, no foul there. Moving on. Smoke screen being deployed. Or should I say a sand screen? It's probably more accurate. Missed the apex there. I'll be honest with you, most of this lap I'm looking in my mirrors because it was all a bit going on a bit crazy. I wasn't sure if people were going to miss their braking points, so on and so forth, but it turned out to be alright. So where I made a mistake here, he obviously got out slow. I tried to go up there and they sort of pushed me off. And I got this 8/10 of a penalty, which I'll accept, probably deserved. So I'll accept that penalty. I saw he's on my inside there, so I had to leave him the space. Couldn't completely go to the apex of the second part of the corkscrew, but I got in front. And here we are, yep. Penultimate corner. So we managed to gain a place. Got ourselves a bit of a penalty. I went deep in there and lost that place. So back where I was. You can see, if you look in the mirror, you're going to see some drama here. Look, there goes a spinning Audi. But anyway, jumping forward to the corkscrew on the second lap here. And there is our friend in the Hyundai. I mentioned that we'll have many things with him later. Someone else managed to get up on my inside or outside there, but they weren't keeping the crop. So we are going to the end, just round the next corner. I end up just tapping, you know what I mean, no harm, no foul. A little tap on the back. Braked a little early. Jumping forward to the corkscrew here on lap 3. I had myself a little bit of a moment. Fortunately, no penalty because I had the moment. Coming up to the last corner, I thought about it, but I thought better of it. Good job I did because he went deep. I would have done the same if I tried to outbrake him, so glad I didn't. So is this the, so here we go in the pits. So this one time I will show you the cheese. Some people aren't aware of how to cheese the pit stops. So you pick your and you literally sit here and you wait until you hear the engine tone go down, just that split second. There it is, and then boom, straight in. You skip like a second. Obviously the guy in front of me didn't do that. I end up jumping him in the pits. So not everyone does it, obviously, because not everyone knows about it, but the vast majority of players do know about it. So if you don't want to get left behind, you need to do it too. So jumping forward here a little bit further. So just this corner, I just wanted to show you where I braked. As you see, it's after the 2 marker. So this is the important lap for showing this race. Anyone that's seen the short that I put up a couple of days ago will know this. Yeah, I go a little deep here. And again here, slightly deep, but I wasn't bothered about this tap. It's more this point here. So that wasn't too bad, but I got a little bit too much curb, got a bit of a slide. That gives him the run up the outside, but he cuts across the front of me and then brakes early. So inevitably I'm going to hit him in the back because, you know, it's like you don't cut across right before the braking zone and brake early. But here, don't know what that was. He obviously was a bit pissed that I rear-ended him, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say that's on him. But he wasn't finished yet. So, here we are, just coming up to the corkscrew, and, yeah, he spins me intentionally. So, in the short, I called him a tool. Here, I'm going to call him a bell end, because he's a bell end. So, jumping forward here, this is where my race was done. Same thing as the lap before, but this time I couldn't save it. So that was that. And we are coming on to the final lap, or the final corner of the final lap, should I say. And I end up finishing in 11th place. So it wasn't a very good race for me. It was going okay until the guy in 5th, the bell end, spun me out on that. Anyway, getting onto our hot lap. So as you can see, we've still got the 236.921 of the MG to beat. So I'll go through the stats of the car. So, as I said, it's got a 2-litre turbocharged inline 4, just like the other 2 cars do. It's got 330 horsepower, which is actually the lowest of the 3 cars, which turns to 246 kilowatts. 315 pound-foot of torque, which is 427 newton meters of torque. It is the lightest of the cars so far, though, with 1,162 kilograms, which is 2,562 pounds. As you saw through Eau Rouge, much easier than even the VW to get through. I was not concerned at all with the back end coming around, which I certainly was with the MG. Here, if you get the line perfect, once you're on the power through the second part of Les Combes, you just hold it all the way through Malmedy. And as you can see, my braking points are not much different to either of the other cars. I found this corner, this was the best car for getting it to turn in. I was a little wide on this particular lap, but I kept the speed up, which was fine. And P1 again, it just felt so stable. I was on the power probably much earlier than I would have been in with any of the other cars, and again, no danger of going wide. So at this point, I'm only a 10th up on my previous lap, which as you can see was a 2:36.9, so it was kind of on the pace with the MG up to this point. The second part of the Fania chicane managed to get on the power much earlier than with the other 2 cars. A little bit wide again there, but I think I still managed to get on the power at the same point. At the second part, Stavolo, and yeah, we're still only about a 10th up. 10th and a half. So on the run up to Blanchimont, the same as everything else, get it into 6th just before you turn in. I turned a little early, as you saw there. I had to take a second bite of it just to make sure I didn't cut the corner. And so the bus stop chicane, nice exit there. Basically, by the time you hit this line, you want to be going over 70 mile an hour. Look how much time I gained there. So we finished off with the 2:36.613. So we have a new champion. And we're going to go now into our second race. So as you can see here, we're at Kyalami, going on to my second qualifying lap, so you get to see the end of the first one as well. So turn 1, obviously here, it's a little kink, so full throttle. Turn 2, the real turn 1, about the 100 metre board, that's what you're looking for, just gone past it there. Sort of turn late, I turned too late and I could never get to the apex there. Here it's just a case of feeling. Ideally I'd like to try and stay in third, but this particular car with the base tune, or stock tune should I say, I always felt like I had to drop it into second. I didn't have enough revs to keep it in third. Coming up to Sunset, you just want to, as you hit the curb, off the throttle, tap the brakes, and just sort of hold it down until you feel like you're comfortable to get back on the power. You're looking for about the 50 board, just after it. Get the curb nicely here. Now for the S's, when you hit the curb, it's again a tap of the brake, turn in, try and straddle that first curb, try and straddle that second curb, and then full throttle on the way up the hill. You want to look for the curbing on the right. When you start seeing the stripes, that's when you hit the brakes, just before it basically. And then power on down towards mineshaft. Now mineshaft in the touring cars is comfortably full throttle, so you don't have to lift at all. But as soon as you see the 100 board for the crocodiles, that's when you want to hit the brakes. Get down to second, keep it nice and tight. And in the second part of the crocodile, it's just a nice cruise. And then up to cheetah. When you see the curb, turn, full throttle over that curb. No problem. For the final corner, brake just before the 50. Down to first, I normally do just for the rotation. On this occasion I powered out in first, but I think as I go through the race I start to learn to just flick it straight back up to second once I get onto the power.
One more.
And there we are, that was good enough for fourth at the time, which ultimately got me 6th place. Now we've got the Need for Speed Underground nostalgia out of the way. Let's go into it. They're coming down to turn 2. Braked a little early just to be on the safe side because this corner is normally an absolute shit show. So I thought I'd just play it safe. This Peugeot, we have a couple of issues with him throughout the race, but yeah, he just forces his way up, forces that guy off, spins that guy out. He quit immediately after spinning out the Audi, unfortunately. So I got is it the Audi or the MG? There's two white cars, I forget which one's which, I think it's the Audi. Yep, he bumps into me, I gave him plenty of room. You could see there was more than a car width on the inside, but he forced me out wide, it was the Audi. And then this Civic here, that's the one of many times he bashes me. I managed to get in front. I make a slight mistake here because I downshifted. But then Rex Road Racer here, as you saw the tool go by, he rear ends me. So I'm down to last, and as you can see, the only person that's now behind me was that Audi that spun out coming out of barbecue because of the Peugeot. So for the rest of the lap here, we are just basically catching back up. Brake late there, as you can tell. Almost went off, but managed to get it stopped just in time. This is the thing, you don't want to get too, you know, you need to remember to hit your braking points even when you're trying to catch up with the rest of the field. It's absolutely imperative. Otherwise, like I do there, you just keep going wide and you lose more time. So that wasn't too bad. didn't keep it as tight as I would like. But even with full throttle medium tyres, you see here, as soon as I hit the the red and white curbing, make the turn. Any of the curbs you see with sand on them, do be careful. They will spin you out. Usually like the ones on the exits are there until you hit this point. That curb will spin you if you are turning on it. That's why you see later on I straighten up. He'd obviously had a spin somewhere along the way. So that's a place gain there. Very early braking there. That's why I backed off. And here we are coming up behind Guy for Forks. By the way, I like the name. In fact, you put the 4 in the middle. Good name there. Well done. So, up the inside here, you can tell how much earlier everyone else is braking than I am, because I was never in any danger of not making that corner, but I hit the apex as the guy 2 cars in front of me. So, yeah, watch this though. I knew what he was going to do there and took himself off, so I may have lost a 10th, but better safe than sorry. So there's a Civic that rear-ended me earlier, funny enough, at this very same corner. And this is not quite perfect into the S's there. But yeah, the Peugeot that hit me going in turn 1, but in lap 1 should I say, turn 4, barbecue basically. Going up the hill here, cut up the inside, and this great move. I know Guy for Forks did make a slight bit of contact behind, but good old switcheroo. But coming down to the crocodiles, you see there's the white MG, is why I was confused which car that was earlier. And watch him. At any point, is there any space for him to go up my left-hand side there? No point was there any space for him. He forced his way into that space and forced me off. He does end up quitting on the final lap. I do see him again. I couldn't hear my own car. That's why I missed the shift. But anyway, so now I'm defending a little bit further down the straight from the Civic. Keep it round the outside of him. And I'm here, and he's like, turn, no. It's like, I'm there, mate. Come on. I exist. And then, obviously tried to get the switcheroo on him. Hadn't realised the MG had darted up my inside either. So a radar would be nice. But here we are, look at this. So up towards the hill. I hit my braking point perfectly. He obviously rear ends me, but he does wait for me. So I'll give him credit there. He does wait. Or the MG spun him out, I'm not sure which. I couldn't tell you. So here we are, coming up to Cheetah on lap 4 here. And I know why I got the penalty there. Because there's 2 markers. Even though I know I lost time, there's 2 markers, one before the corner, one after, and I had gained like 3/10. But then I was still on the grass when I gained those 3/10. But anyway, I went through to lap 5, as you can tell there, so I could switch on to softs. So here we are on the first lap on the softs, coming up behind Guy for Forks. And this is how much better my soft tyres are compared to, I assume, his mediums, because he pitted the lap before me, which took it straight around the outside, nice and clean. He goes a bit wide there, so that's another place gained. I'm not sure what this one's about. Oh yeah, the speed difference and this. I turned earlier than I would ordinarily because I thought he's going to try and wait me out. As you can tell, I got way too much grass. And indeed, he's no longer in my rearview mirror, so someone went for an excursion on the grass. Excursion on the grass, should I say. Turned a little early there, yes. Got myself another penalty. So, you know, it's only like 4/10 in total. It's not a massive penalty, but I had to. So that's why I was going on about that curb. You saw me straighten out the steering because I knew I'd spin if I tried to keep the turning going. So here we are on to the final lap. Coming up to our friend in the Peugeot. There he is. He has a bit of a slide. I don't know how I managed to get up the inside of 2 other cars without any contact, but I did. Then our Peugeot friend screws up this corner here. goes off into the grass. You see, I can see him in the mirror just about. I'm not sure when he quits, because I still see him until he actually gets out of my shot. But this guy trying to spin me. I had to straighten out my steering then. I didn't think initially he was trying to spin me. I thought, oh, maybe he just missed his braking point. The proof in the pudding of the fact he was trying to spin me is coming up here. Because again, I had to straighten up my steering when I saw how quickly he was coming to hit me. And you see him, if you look, he gets a penalty for that. So I didn't, it didn't affect me in any way, shape or form. So the fact he got a penalty meant he must have hit me at quite a speed. He was clearly trying to take me out so he could have 10th place. But it cost him in the end. There we go. So finished in the top 10. Only lost 4 places in the end. Mostly down to that first lap incident coming into the S's. I think we're just going to have a look at my Peugeot friend, because I couldn't see him there, because obviously he should have been 2 cars behind us, behind the Honda. Yeah, he finished last because obviously he had a penalty, but I think he was the last person to actually quit. So yeah, on the car, it's a really nice car to drive, really stable, apart from the corkscrew. It's the only place I've ever had any issues at any track with this car, with the stock tune. Once you get the chance to tune it, you can tune those problems out of it. Really nice to drive. Like I said, it may be, I think it actually has the least amount of horsepower out of all the cars, even the Subaru. We'll see when we get to that one. But once I've gone through all the cars, for this series, it's probably the car that I'm going to use most of the time. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed the video, do hit the like button. If you really enjoyed the video, do consider subscribing. Otherwise, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.